All right, guys, I'm in a new coaching program and it's 6 months long. So I thought I would share with you what I learned in the first week. A lot. Okay. So I'm Dr. Mary Renzel. I am the owner of Brain Fresh, and I love using neuroscience to help people live fully in their purpose and find joy professionally. Okay. Status quo is not okay with me. Like how things are and professional joy at work is not okay with me right now. Like a lot of people are just stuck and doing things that they don't have a lot of enthusiasm for, or they're not feeling hopeful about. So that's not okay with me. So I joined this program. So what I learned is, it's okay to kind of push beyond what you think are your limits. And that mindset thing is huge, right? So what we think our limits are, like there was a story that, we thought at one point in time in the 1950s, I guess, that humans could never run faster than a 4-minute mile. And then suddenly somebody did, and then suddenly other people could do it. So they're like, oh, you can do that. Humans can do that. So we have to be careful what barriers we give ourselves. We always, that was just a given. They thought that humans couldn't run faster than a 4-minute mile. And then it's been broken a lot since then. So we have to consider like, what are our thoughts? What's the story we're telling ourselves? What are the barriers that we see? We might want to call it friction or barriers. What story are we giving those? Like, what do we think? Why are we stuck? What's the barrier there? Envision that. What I like to do in Brain Fresh, and we do in Brain Fresh first, is what we call brain priming. So we just kind of sit back and make sure we're giving the brain everything it needs so we can come up with the big ideas. So you can't ask a tired, hungry, starving, stressed brain to all of a sudden come up with these professional plans, right? So it's really important to know why you're taking the energy toward, getting over those friction and the barriers, and that you can push beyond what you think are the boundaries, because probably there's a story there, what we call our boundary. So what I see is a lot of inequities, social inequities, racial, gender, et cetera, around the world, for my patients and professionally. And I read this interesting stats from McKinsey that said if the gender gap was narrowed, not even, solved, but narrowed, there'd be 12 trillion more in the GDP. So just holding people down, it doesn't make sense to me as a society if we're trying to raise the society up. So I also learned that's really important to focus and set goals and to take some time. First of all, get your brain in that good position, that brain prime, good position to envision and dream. And then when you dream, you set like, where do I want to get to? And focus on that. So if I say yes to everything, if I told you right now how much screen time I had on my phone, I just looked, it's really crazy. So when you say you don't have time, just check your screen time on your phone. I'll tell you mine was over 2 hours a day, average. Wow. Maybe that's listening to podcasts, maybe that's navigation, but it's a lot of time. So there's time in there, even if it's 10 minutes. And if you want to set a goal, you need to get your brain primed to get ready to set a goal, right? And then in order for, as a coach, I'm learning how to coach. I'm learning how to coach on mindset, on money, on business strategies. So if I need to build that bond with my coachee, they need to trust me. So if I get vulnerable with them, like tell them, especially like a failure or a challenge, that makes me see more real, which is just life, right? So if I share a real life story with my coachee, it will help them trust me more. And what we know from neurobiology of the relationship of humans, that we have to trust each other before we can get any work done, right? So how do we trust each other? We get vulnerable. Like we just tell authentic stories, right? That things that really happen. It helps if you tell a story of something that didn't go well and then what you did. How did you handle that? What were your next steps? So that builds trust between me as a coach and my coachee. Um, they also, in this lesson, I learned like passion is, if you define that, I don't forget it was Latin or Greek, it meant suffering. So you actually suffer for what's important to you. So what that meant to, what they were describing is that we work hard for things that are important to us. And we know that like in Brain Fresh, we do that too. We come in, we learn our values, our deep core values. Because I'm willing to do anything for an equity like this. I'm willing to take a 6-month course to learn how to better coach people, on these things, because I feel like, again, the society would be just even way better. And the stats suggest that if everyone has equal strategies and playing field, right? We're definitely not there, but hopefully I'm taking a step toward that. Okay, so those are my main learning and my coaching. It's important to push beyond my limits and question what I say is my limit. I see more for the world. I see beyond these inequities that are holding us back. So I'm willing to put time to this because this is one of my core values, inequities. I'm willing to work, especially I've done a lot of work in gender inequities. I'm learning about other like DEI issues, not an expert, learning. And I'm learning about the importance of meaningful work. So if you want to say your passion or something that's important to you, I like to think of that also with core values. Someone explaining values to me that it's like your line in the sand. And that makes sense to me. Okay. You got this, guys. So if you want to jump into Leadership Lift, that's my monthly membership program. I'm going to share more strategies and coaching and do some group coaching and some one-on-one coaching at certain levels of the membership. So if you want to get the one-on-one coaching or you want the VIP, like let's just nail it and have so many hours a month together so we really nail your goals. I'm glad to share it. I need to practice coaching for the next 6 months. So jump in, Leadership Lift, and we'll do it together. All right. Thanks, guys.